We saw 12 very good rounds of boxing. I think was a great atmosphere. Not just the band. I think the crowd played its part as well in a great event. I think it's what we wanted. Well, George will tell me then if it was what he wanted, but it was a fight. I think everyone who watched it enjoyed, and it was as I said, you don't become number 3 in the world and European champion for nothing. I think there was certain people, a couple of people also in this room, who underestimated him, wrote him off, and I think we got a good fight. I disagree with the scorecards. I had him nick around it too, and maybe I have my lenses on. I'll have a look at it again tomorrow, but I can't really give him more than maybe two rounds, So for me, it was but we're not complaining, Wins the win. We've got the world title challenge now. Monday morning, while George is resting, I'll be actually maybe even tonight. Well, it's the afternoon now. We'll be on the phone to Mexico and making sure that we're kicking the door, because I believe there is under the rules he's allowed a voluntary before a mandatory. My argument would be that there hasn't been a mandatory in a hell of a long time, but we'll see.
Can you take the microphone, please?
Sorry, JP. Is that what? Is this a mic? Is it? No, I was just about to say this. I've got to talk louder for you, so I'm losing my voice a little bit. I was doing all that singing ringside. No, it's a case now of obviously lobbying the WBC to make our position strong. We'll be talking to the Durrell camp as well. I think, as I said before the fight, I think George has made his statement tonight. And as I've said before the fight, we've got the attraction, we feel. It is business. We've got the money over here to do it. We've also got the infrastructure and the money within our ranks, Team Southern ranks. If we need to pull out the checkbook, that's what we'll do. On the other hand, it is a 70-30 split, I believe. So it's against us, but I don't think George has got a problem beating Anthony Durrell anywhere in the world. I saw even Frank Warren mixed him up today in the Sun. So and it's Anthony, not Andre. So I think that's where we're going to go now. George, talk a little bit about how you saw tonight.
Yeah, I mean it was always going to be tough coming back, I think, and Rebrasse certainly didn't make it easy, didn't roll over. We knew the dude never been stopped, only lost twice. We'd seen enough of him to know that tonight was going to be difficult. He was a pretty well-schooled technical boxer. He's good defence, punched off, a good counter puncher. When you got in close, he was looking for the openings, and at long range he had a pestering jab, which would knock you off your rhythm. So it was about establishing myself from the start and build momentum, and without giving him any success. And obviously we wanted to come back in a meaningful fight, fighting for a European title against the champion, and fighting for a mandatory position with WBC. We knew it was going to be tough. Talking about the road to recovery, how lots of people have described it. After getting knocked out, you're mentally tough as a fighter. You either are or you aren't. And I knew this is exactly what I needed. And what turned into 12 physical rounds, I think Ed told me that I threw 1,000 punches, which I'm sure the conditioning coach Barry will be happy with. So,
Where's Father
O'Connell, yeah. So, it's there, and I've got to be honest. You never know how you're going to react after losing, what it's going to feel like. So much of this was new, working with Calla was new. We're putting on our own shows now in the UK, and it's exciting, it's stimulating, but all that for me goes out the window come fight night because I just got to go in there and do the business. As I say, now as time goes on, I'll look back at this fight and it's perfect for me. 12 rounds under my belt. As I say, physical rounds. I felt I was in complete control of the fight. I wasn't paying attention to the scorecards, but I think they might be tighter than I think. I want to strive on now and win this world title. That's what I want. That's what Calla wants. That's what we're going to do. And it's the road. As I say, I feel it's inevitable. I'm going to become world champion. We're going to work hard for it. But I look forward to achieving it.
You want to fight for the world title next year? Do you think that will happen?
This morning I would have said I'd fight for that world title in December. I just done 12 rounds, so I'm looking forward to having some sleep. And then probably Monday morning I'll be thinking about fighting again in December.
Monday you'll probably tell me in November.
Yeah, November. Yeah, next week. We're I feel good to go, and I think for me right now in my career, I want to be busy, I want to be active. Sooner rather than later, I'm sure we can make it happen. Darrell hasn't done much lately. He had to wait 9 months for his rematch. Beaker, he's not a marquee name in the States. He's scratching around. He'll be scratching around for a purse, I'm sure. And if he wants to build his profile here in the UK, so be it. We'll bring him over. I think it's a huge fight. I think it sells. I think everyone will be interested. And I'm fortunate that I box in the super middleweight division. It's a glory division here in the UK. So many good fighters, so many big personalities. I want to be top of the tree, so willing to take the fights. And as I say, sooner rather than later. So we'll be pushing hard for it.
What did you say to Carl at the end to everything so?
I said. I said, "You're happy to box anyone?" I said, "Yeah, of course." I said, "Even Carl sitting down there." So happy to fight him. And then he had a perplexed look on his face, or he's angry or something. I don't know. He jumped out, started ranting and raving at me. I said, with a smile on my face, "Carl, don't worry about it. You boxed twice and you got 2 wins, but I'll beat you any day of the week. I still feel the same. The first fight, that goal wasn't quite over the line, but it counted. It's on my record. Second fight, punch from the gods, I've heard it being described as, and fair play to him. But it's a fight I'd love to have. Of course, I pick my route. I want to win a WBC belt first. But if he wants to box on, probably the biggest fight out there for him. And he clearly doesn't like me, so something to train for.
Did you feel a bit tense to start?
Yeah, 100%. As I say, it's all new. Coming back from a high-profile loss, dealing with the pressure. We had an uphill battle. Promotionally it was tough, and I always knew Sauer is capable of it, but we broke the mould. He has to be much more PC than me, but we're on Sky, and that's Matchroom's job. I'm not a Matchroom fighter. Matchroom sorted out our undercard, which was really nice of them. I thank Eddie for that. But Sky, I feel, have identified me with enough talent and enough maybe personality that I belong on Sky, and I appreciate that, and we want to kick on from there, because there's some huge fights we can have here in the UK, and I think all the TV networks would be interested in showcasing my fights, even that guy outside. I think your father just pushed someone out the window. So.
What? It's alright.
Oh, is it? Poor Carl, Jesus.
Fights out the window now.
Yeah, literally.
You looked tired at the end of the sixth. Did you feel tired?
To be honest, I did. You know, I'm not the sort of fellow who make excuses. You know, we had a bit of an up and down camp, with a couple of little niggles and issues, but like there was no way that I was going to, you know, let this fight slip. I wasn't going to pull out, and I wasn't going to, you know, let everyone down. I was I felt I was still in full control, you know, and as I say, it was a physical fight. I was throwing a lot of punches. The guy had a very good recovery. He was obviously in great shape himself. So you have to, you know, sometimes you have to not necessarily bite down on the gum shield, but you've got to, you know, keep your composure. That's what Paddy was telling me in the corner. And you know, as I say, I needed to deliver tonight for the team.
The pace he went off at those first 4 or 5 rounds, it was like you were banking on getting him out of there in the first 4 or 5 rounds, because you went hell for leather almost first at the start.
Maybe that was a knee-jerk reaction to, you know, the last fight. Maybe I just wanted to let my hands go. I just want to punch someone in the face. Who knows? You know, the guy could take a shot. He had quick recovery, and there was the odd time. There was plenty of times where I felt I buzzed him, hurt him. Didn't want to empty the tank, trying to finish him. So you know, you have to walk that tightrope of, as I say, keeping in full control of the fight, which I felt I was the whole time. You know, making him pay. Also, you know, mixing it up and doing what you do.
Is there a concern that Durrell could keep you waiting and so delay your chances?
If I'm mandatory, and as I say, if he might not get his voluntary. If he keeps me waiting, he's keeping himself waiting, and you know, I'm sure he's had enough problems in his career that he wouldn't want to be out the ring for too long. As I say, he's not a big marquee name in the States. He fights as an undercard, you know, challenging for a world title on an undercard. So I'm sure we'll be able to tempt him to come to the UK, and if we can't, then we'll force him to come to the UK. So no, we'll be good.
In December time.
You know, we'll have to reassess in the morning, I suppose. But I feel good. Like, I feel good, and as I say, I'd love to, you know, start the new year with a world title. Whether that's just being very ambitious or not, we'll soon find out. But I want to keep busy. Certainly want to keep busy. I feel good. You know, I feel healthy, and I think now that I've got this fight out of the way, you know, the fight back, we'll go from strength to strength. And you know, as I say, we're putting on shows here for the first time, and we want to keep that momentum going. So, you know, yeah, that's how.
So if he does get voluntary, you'd want another fight, basically.
I'd
I
speak
think
to
we
Carl.
will. We'll take one step at a time. I mean, like George says, I mean, yeah, I mean, Anthony Durrell is an issue. I don't really see a more attractive fight financially for him at this stage. I mean, you know, he talked in the one interview, I think it was with Coot and Cassius, where he said, you know, it's about cash. You know, this is about cash. You know, just almost want to make him an offer here so you can all write it, but I'm still working out the numbers. It's something which I can't see him getting round. I mean, you know, there's no bigger fight for him. You know, it's a huge fight. It's a huge fight. You know, and one thing, I mean, the performance. I think, you know, I think Paddy should say a few words as well on the performance. But one thing's for sure, George showed again. There's things where I'm sure they're going to go away and work on. But I said he's one of the most exciting fighters on the planet. And I think after that fight tonight, my mind hasn't changed one bit. And, you know, that sort of fight will go down very well across the States as well. You know, and that's something, you know, I've said, you know, when we signed this, you know, George is also very appealing. His style is appealing to the US fans. And you see people like, you know, Andre Ward, for example, great fighter, you know, I mean, very, very difficult to beat. You know, I think you can ask Mikkel and you can ask Carl that question as well. But it's not going to put bums on seats, you know. And George does. George is a natural entertainer inside and outside the ring, but he showed tonight again that it's not just all mouth. You know, he's a highly talented individual.
George, you mentioned this was the road to recovery. Do you feel recovered after that, or do you still feel a bit further journey down that road?
Oh, we got a long journey ahead of us, you know, and this is the first page back in the new chapter. The mission is to become world champion, and we took a serious step in the right direction. And you know, I'm happy, I'm proud. Feels good to be back winning, but we still got an awful long way to go. And you know, plan of action is that the next fight is to challenge for a world title, and then, you know, that's fulfilling one goal, becoming world champion, and then we go to step on from there. Nothing is ever straightforward in boxing. You know, I've been involved in pro boxing 5-6 years now, and even I know that already. So we'll be pushing hard, but if anyone's capable of it, Team Soulander, and with their backing, we're going to take over the world, you know, slowly but surely. This is the first step.
Paddy, how do you assess George's performance? Were you satisfied?
Was I satisfied? If I was marking it, I suppose I'd give it 8 out of 10. There was a couple of things that technically where we made mistakes, obviously, but overall, I said to you last week, I didn't care about these. Obviously, George got a different opinion on that, but these only become important now. Before that fight, it was all about beating Rebrasse and getting back on the wins. And you have a lot to deal with when you come off a fight of the magnitude of last time, and with it finishing the way it did last time. It'd be very hard for any individual to be dominant in both fights, and then to you know, get the first fight taken away the way it was, and having the second fight end the way it did. There's a lot to deal with, emotionally, and I think it was even harder for him to deal with emotionally because he was fighting a man in Rebrasse that nobody knew over here. So people take it for granted, you know, when they see a guy that doesn't have a lot of knockouts on his record, the general consensus is, well, you can just walk in and take him out. But you know, we all know, say Wayne McCulloch, for example, he by no means was the biggest puncher in the book, but he had a chin like granite. So just because a man can't punch doesn't mean he can't take it. So this was always going to be very, very hard for George to make sure that he stayed focused on the priorities in this fight, as opposed to what the general public might have thought about this fight. He's got the win now, proud of him, proud to be part of the team, and now it's time to move forward.
Was that a yes and you were satisfied?
I have no idea.
George, you mentioned a couple of issues during the camp. Can you highlight them?
I went to Vegas for 2 weeks and it all went downhill from there, you know, as you can imagine. So got back, Paddy, I'd lied to Paddy the whole time, just out partying every night. And you know, by the time I got back, I was 6.5 stone overweight.
Was that with Gareth? With Gareth?
Gareth, yeah. Well, he stood me up. I was waiting for him for 2 weeks. No, it was, you know, obviously we had a really smooth camp for the first fight, and we lost. We didn't have a smooth camp for this, you know. I'm going to go into too much detail about it, but we won, and we won well. So ain't all worries about that. Tonight was about winning, and it was about getting the job done. And as I say, the crowd was great, the band was great, the promotion was great, the team were great, and there was no way I was going to sat and be, you know, no way I was going to let anything but a win, you know, be the result tonight.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Cool. Thank you guys for coming over. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.